Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. New London Church. Woohoo.
Yeah. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2. Check 1. Check 2. 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. You got it.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
I'm using this.
This is Alex's. We're not doing it.
You can take that away.
I just want to put ours right up front. So
Nope,
we
I
can
got
send
you.
the side
I
check.
got
No,
you,
you
got
can
you.
leave it there. Whatever.
No, this is the one we're actually using. Krebs is
Sorry.
Alex's. So I'll take Alex's. Yeah, Krebs, you want to move it around to the side?
Yeah.
Yep. Alex took his camera away, right? He's not.
Yes, correct. Yep.
So he doesn't need this.
I was gonna use it, but then it was really low, the level. So this is way too high. The mirror's not that tall. Okay.
Yeah, that should be perfect. That works.
Set up this is gonna be like right in front of his face.
Yeah,
Whose is this?
I don't know. If that microphone's here, it's always right in everyone's face.
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you for coming today. We first of all, I want to thank again the great work of the New London Police Department, New London Fire Department. I want to thank the mutual aid companies, first responders that came from our surrounding communities and helped us out yesterday. I also want to thank the governor once again for the state resources that he sent. The search and rescue teams wrapped up their work in the early morning hours, and we are very confident that there was no loss of life during this incident. Today we've spent the day strategizing on the demolition process and how we move forward, and working with engineers who have determined, unfortunately, that the remainder of this structure will have to be demolished completely. So that process will be ongoing for the next few days. We are working out issues with traffic circulation and parking, and we've also been working with our community partners and the church congregation in order to relocate the services that this church was providing to the community. Now, I know you have specific questions regarding inspections and building issues and fire inspection issues, so I have Fire Marshal Vern Scow here with us today. He'll answer any of those questions. I also have Jeannie Milstein, our Human Services Director, and she can talk to you about how the community has really come out in support of this congregation and the city as a whole based on this terrible occurrence. I also have the Police Chief Brian Wright here, who can answer any other questions regarding the police activities surrounding this event. So with that, I'll turn it over to Human Services Director Jeannie Milstein.
Thank you very much. I would first like to thank the mayor, the governor, all the city
departments and all the staff who have gotten together, and our community. Our community is so resilient, and I cannot even begin to describe the outpouring of support that we have received. The church has served breakfast Monday through Friday for over 20 years. We average about 70 people each day, people in need of food. Thanks to the police department, they went out and purchased 75 breakfast sandwiches and delivered them this morning. Other community partners came forward with juice and coffee. We did not even start our meal service late this morning. That shows the resilience and the communication, cooperation, and collaboration of our community. We not only have such compassion in this community, we're very action-oriented. A group of us met, and I'd like to thank the clergy who attended and stepped forward. We met at 1 o'clock today, and we have a plan. We will be open business as usual Monday morning at the Salvation Army. We are so grateful to them. St. James Church, the new London Meal Center, business as usual Monday morning. Leadership from Lawrence and Memorial Hospital has already stepped up to help with some financial assistance. As I always say, New London is a community on the front porch. So thank you.
Do you want to tell them about the bar?
Oh, thank you so much. And extreme gratitude from all of us to the Guard Theater, who has agreed to open the theater Sunday morning for services for Engaging Heaven, and the community, other congregations are invited as well.
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock Sunday morning, the Guard Theater.
Fire Marshal Vern Scow.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Vernon Scow, VERNON SKAU. I'm the fire marshal for the City of New London. I've been fire marshal since 2016. The last fire inspection that was conducted in this property was in 2019. There were 3 minor violations at that time. One regarding the fire alarm. It was in trouble, which is a minor issue. And then an exit light and an emergency light. All of those on January 4th, 2019 were compliant. And now we'll take questions.
Yeah, can you tell them about the, go ahead.
Tell them about what?
So we understood there's been numerous questions regarding inspections. There's been numerous questions regarding inspections, inspection histories, legal requirements for inspections, and we thought it'd be better to get you all together, answer everybody's questions at once. And so this is sort of the opportunity to do that. We can give you a little history on this particular structure.
One thing I did forget to mention, on the city website, we've created a file. It has the building department files, it has the fire marshal's files, and it also has a file from the city regarding that property. It's easy accessible. Go to newlondonct.org and you'll see it. Regarding the inspections, the building itself is an A3 according to the building code. That's required to be done on a 2-year cycle. As you know, 2019, 2021 would be the next inspection. The one thing that really threw a wrinkle into the inspection process was COVID-19. The fire marshals, the fire marshal and inspectors segued into emergency management, where we prepared, planned, and helped mitigate through that process. So that is the reason for the lack of inspection. Are there any questions we can take?
Are you saying that the last inspection was in 2019?
It was January 4th, 2019, yes.
And it's my understanding from the state that it's the local level that has zoning laws and regulations for inspections. Are churches required to have insurance, and will that cover some of the costs?
That is a question that I can't speak to. I don't know if if there's somebody here that can speak to that.
I can speak to that. We are still investigating the insurance history on this particular property, so we can't answer that question right now.
And the other question that I had was, with extreme temperatures and a lot of moisture, mortar can be compromised. Is that something that could be a wake-up call for other churches in our state, given the fact that this is a very old building and pointing had not been done?
So I can't speculate at all as to the cause of the structural collapse, and I don't want to be premature on that, but we have been doing work to document the structure as best we can in a safe manner, so we can try to determine the cause and origin. However, it wouldn't be good to speculate about that.
So you're working on seeing the insurance.
We're also having advanced discussions in this city about how we proceed with the rest of our historic structures and especially our church spires. And so you can be assured that at least in this city, and I imagine many cities across the state, are going to be putting a closer eye on the condition of some of these historic structures, because this has certainly caught us by surprise. Yes, I think it's important to distinguish between the inspections that Fire Marshal Scow is referring to that would not have helped determine this situation at all.
Talk about what you were looking for today with the structural engineer when you went up. Did you see anything? Did you find anything?
Let's address this question and then we can come there. Can you just restate your question? I just forgot it.
Explain to us precisely what is involved in a fire inspection.
Simply stated, a life safety code inspection is the terminology. That a life safety code inspection is a general walkthrough of a building or a residence, and during that walkthrough, anything that is a violation of the Connecticut State Fire Safety Code is noted, and then a correction plan is made. For example, in a church, doing an inspection of a church, we would walk through the sanctuary. We would make sure that the aisles are the proper width, make sure that the emergency lights work. The fire alarm system has been inspected and tested by a third party, and the emergency lights work. So it's a very simple walkthrough of the property. What we're not able to do is see anything beyond any walls or in areas that you don't have access to. So it is a very simple walkthrough to make sure that the means of egress of the property is effective in case people had to move out. And sir, you had a question?
Yeah, so today the structural engineers were up, you were part of that?
Yes.
The bucket truck or the bucket apparatus. What did you see? What did you find? Is there anything you can tell us that you might know?
Well, I don't want to opine on what the engineer of record has said. What he is doing, he's compiling a report, and that is going to be submitted to the City of New London. And at the completion of that, I'm going to make an assumption that is going to be released in public.
You can't say anything now about what may or may not have happened.
Say that again?
You can't say anything now about what may or may not have been found today.
I can tell you that he found that the cause, or yeah, right now, no, we don't have a clear definition of the chain of events that led to the collapse. We know what happened in the collapse. We saw damage, but we don't understand what the initial trigger for the collapse was, and we may or may not know.
Marshall, what can you rule out at the moment?
We can rule out that this was an explosion. It was a catastrophic accident. So we can rule out that.
But it was not an explosion.
It is not an explosion.
Mayor or Vern, should people be worried about other buildings in the city? And what are you doing to make sure that there aren't any other buildings that this could happen?
Is that something you want to hear?
We have no information to believe that any other building in the city is structurally compromised as this one was. I do want to point out that one of the documents that the fire marshal put on the website is a 2011 engineering condition report on this particular structure. So you're all free to look at that. So as of 2011, this structure was deemed to be safe. It's my understanding it was built in between 1850 and 1851. That's what I'm going by my memory, but I believe that's the case. I think that should be easily discoverable.
Mayor, is Rick here, the assistant building inspector?
Yep, Rick. You're on the spot. I think one of the things that's also important to realize is the limitations of a building inspectors, what they actually are responsible for checking on.
So Rick, the records we have show that in 1975, an addition was put on this church. Any information that may have caused anything, or is it too early to tell, or you just don't know?
Well, we have to look into the city records. We have on file to see exactly what was done and if it was inspected correctly. It was done, quite a while ago, so we'll have to check into that.
And is there anything in the records now currently that you're looking at specifically as a problem that may relate to work done on the church?
No, not really. I know there was some new air conditioning installed a couple of years ago, but nothing major.
Nothing stands out.
No, they did a roof repair about 5 or 6 years ago, and there was no mention of anything at that time. That was a problem.
Mayor, can you just elaborate a bit on the demolition process? You said that engineers were here strategizing of that today. What is that going to look like? Are you going to have, how large of the area are you going to have
Excuse me,
for
Rick.
that?
I'll take this one.
And can you just tell us more details about the demolition plan?
Yeah, so that's what we spent most of today on, and the engineers were actually, what they were evaluating today was whether or not any of the remaining structure could be salvaged. And they would, the eventual determination was it is entirely too severely compromised to salvage any of it. So unfortunately, the entire structure will have to be demolished. That will take 3 or 4 days, it's my understanding, and the whole structure will be leveled. At that point, we're left with the rubble, and we will have to work with DEEP on a remediation plan for the remains. No. We are working on a plan. The hardest building to provide access to during this process will be the post office. And the police chief has worked out a plan with the post office, and we'll be notifying the community how we will provide access to the post office. Obviously, these immediate streets around the church will be closed, but the businesses across the street and everything else will pretty much stay open. We're not going to reopen the student housing in the Manwaring building until the demolition process is complete. But we expect that by early next week.
So, Mayor, if I hear you correctly, then there's no fire inspection, building inspection, any other kind of inspection that would lead you to believe as to what caused this to happen, so it's a mystery as it stands right now. Do I have it right?
Yes. Yes, we have not been able to determine a cause and origin, and we're doing everything we can to preserve and inspect what there is now between now and the complete demolition of the building. We're preserving as much evidence as we can in the hopes of being able to determine that, but as the fire marshal said, we may never know the answer.
And there are no other plans to have engineers look at any other buildings in the city? There's no other buildings you're concerned about?
No, I don't want to say that. We are discussing the legal limits of our ability to get private property owners to obtain inspections and to provide the city with inspections to prove that their buildings are safe. We've been having ongoing discussions about how we move forward here. There are certainly a number of structures in the city in the wake of this incident that we would like to look into and ensure have been maintained properly.
Mayor, is there any concerns as you continue the demolition of particulates or contamination that will get into the air that you're going to have to deal with?
So the demolition company is skilled at controlling those elements. If you notice, you'll see that they have air monitors around the site, and we will do everything we can to make sure that the contaminants are contained in the site.
Do we know if there's anything in there, like asbestos, lead, etc.?
You know, the law requires us to assume that it's contaminated, but you know, based on the age of the building, we don't believe that it would have the more modern day building materials that create the problems, such as asbestos and PCBs, but we just don't know. Yes, at this point, the city has the financial liability.
Do you know about how much it's going to cost, ballpark?
We're trying not to think about that.
Any estimate?
I have not heard of an estimate. Oh, this is, I mean, it's heartbreaking. Yeah, I mean, it's heartbreaking. You know, and I'm not the only one that feels that way. So, you know, everybody's sending around pictures of the steeple from different scenes in the city. There's a waterfront view, and this steeple is a major landmark, sticking well above the skyline. So, you know, the skyline of the city has permanently changed, and we've lost a significant piece of our history. The congregation, as you know, dates back to before the city was founded. So this congregation was here since the city came here to found the city of New London.
Mayor, no other complaints, tips, somebody calling in saying they saw something in the foundation, cracked in the wall, cracked downstairs in the basement, any reports of anything prior to this?
So since this happened, after the collapse, there has been circulating on social media a photo of the steeple, and it appears to be compromised. So that's out there, and we've also been getting reports of observations of this steeple looking like it was leaning. None of those reports were received by the City of New London, and nobody in the City of New London had any information that there was any structural problem with this structure.
So are you following up those social media tips or leads, or what are you doing?
Well, that's all part of the investigation, the cause and origin investigation that's handled by a joint task force comprised of the Fire Marshal's Office and the New London Police Department. What they're doing right now is they are preparing a base. With the rubble that has already fallen, they're preparing a base. You'll notice there's a smaller machine working now. They're preparing a base for the very large demolition machine to get up onto the site to be able to actually begin the demolition of the remaining structure. No, and we're not required, and I don't believe we even have the authority to do that. The building inspections, Vern, they're the limits of the building inspector's authority. You explained it before, the three things that they do.
Rick might be able, I can opine on that.
Yeah.
The building department is responsible for handling complaints, any new permits, but there is no trigger in the building code to have annual or routine inspections. So if there was a complaint that was generated, not only the building department but the fire marshal's office would be involved, and we would follow up on that complaint. But to reiterate what the mayor had said earlier, there have been no complaints to either the building department or the fire marshal's office.
So the short answer is there is no process for routine inspections of structures in the city. Well, we certainly have identified a number of structures that we're looking into, and we'd like to be reassured that they've been properly maintained and that they are structurally sound. We are discussing the limits of our legal liability to do that, and who bears the burden of the cost.
Can you tell me which congregation, which church owns the building, and who is the tenant?
The Engaging Heaven has title to the building, but the First Congregational Church is a tenant. So it's shared. Yes, so it's shared by two congregations. I can tell you that almost every other congregation in this city has reached out to both of these congregations to offer them space for their Sunday services. And as Director Milstein pointed out, the Guard Arts Theater has stepped forward. It has a very large venue, and it will be holding the service this Sunday at 11 o'clock. We expect that to be well attended. That will be the community healing event.
A day later, do you have any more information from that woman that released that your church where exactly what she saw and experienced?
Yeah.
The secretary's office is on a partition wall to the main sanctuary. So she explained to us that while she was in her office, she felt the wind was blowing, and she thought some shingles had fallen off the roof. And then when she went to investigate, she couldn't even realize, is what she said, the impact of the collapse. So she just had no idea while she was in the building of the magnitude of the collapse.
All set then? So thank you all. We'll keep you informed if there's any other updates.
Do you expect to make another update this weekend, or not until next week?
We'll obviously be on site all weekend, but we probably will not have another press conference till Monday unless something significant comes up. Okay. Okay. You don't as far as the timetable goes, I wouldn't expect to see the building. The plan is not for the building to actually, those towers to come down tonight, so just in case you don't want to hang around all night. I'm told it's not going to happen before tomorrow morning.
We multitask here, John.
Okay. Do you get paid extra for that?